Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 22nd of December 2024. So lots to get through as always. Going to start off today with a look through some of the weekend's watch list stocks. So there was a very heavy week. There's lots of negative action after the Fed with a little bit of a rebound on Friday. So we started to get some minor moves on Friday. So a few stocks into the watch list again, but not a huge list at the moment. Just wanted to start off with AAOI. Been in the stocks watch list for a while, started to move out into stage 2, and then strong earnings reaction on some of the strongest volume that it had seen continuing through with a strong trend. And we've had this recent change of behaviour, a little significant bar. You can see from this significant bar it hasn't managed to really get back up into more than halfway into that range. If you break the bar into two halves here, you can see it's been lingering in the lower half of this significant bar at the moment. So as you can see with the 1 ATR level 38.69 here, so closed at 37.82 on Friday with a strong reversal, 16.76% on the day. So it is a high volatility stock, this one. You can see its average true range here on the 21 day is 3.785, so it does have a big move each day. So from that price, let me just do that, 3.785 divided by, where are we, 37. So it's got an average daily range of 10%. So Friday's bar, although big at 16.76%, was only 6.76% above the average daily range. So a big mover on this one, as you can see, but it is in a relatively neutral position just underneath that 1 ATR level at the moment. You can see relative strength still outperforming, and in the near term making a higher high here against the market. So one of the things we like to do with stage analysis when looking at stocks like this is the pullback entry point can be done by using the same technique that you would use on the weekly chart. So if we go to the weekly chart quickly, you can see as you start to move out from stage 1 into stage 2, we can do this similar kind of pattern but on a lower time frame. So with the same settings, if we go back to the stock charts chart here, we drop down to an intraday time frame, start off with a much lower one, like a 1 hour time frame here. You can see in the near term it's had a little stage 2 run, stage 3, and start to break down into 4, then be going sideways in a broad based stage 1 structure here. Probably take this out a little bit further, so double the time frame to a 2 hour chart. So this can be a really good time frame with intraday stage analysis. It's got a little bit less noise than the 30-minute or the 1 hour time frame. So when you're looking for a pullback entry point, you can drop down to these lower time frames, the 195, the 2 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, etc., and look for the stages on those time frames and how it's moving. So you can see obviously started to break out into stage 2 here on exceptional volume back in November. So on the intraday time frame, it had a strong stage 2 run, started to roll over and quickly dropped into a minor stage 4 before starting to develop and build this structure that's been going on now for the last couple of weeks here. So you can see we're sitting right at the top of the structure, the 30 bar moving average on this time frame. So it's using just the 2 hour bars on this. So you've still got the 10 and the 30 moving average on this time frame. You see it's starting to curl up here. So it's sitting at the top of the base structure in stage 1 on this intraday time frame. So it's in position for, if it does start to push out through this area here, this would turn to stage 2 on this lower time frame. So on the higher time frame, we're already in stage 2, as we know. So you can see we're in a strong stage 2 uptrend here, but we come back to this intraday time frame here, we're only in stage 1. So we're in a neutral position currently. Stage 1 or stage 3 are both neutral positions. So when it's basing So obviously stage 3 doesn't have to turn to stage 4, and stage 1 doesn't have to turn to stage 2. So you could equally, you have a failed breakout attempt here. This is something that often happens, or doesn't even make the breakout attempt at all, and it can quickly drop off and make a stage 4 continuation breakdown. So it doesn't have to go into stage 2, but if we do get a break to the upside here, it starts to break out of this local structure, and at the same time we see some strong relative volume. So ideally, if you get a little breakout through here and you only get a minor bar, so just average volume or low volume, so we get a break up like this and it's only got small volume, then that has much more high chance of failure than if you get a breakout attempt through this 38 to 40 level here and you get some strong relative volume that's 2 or 3 times the average volume for this time scale. So this is a good example here, where it exploded higher, exceptionally strong volume compared to the previous volume through here. So at the moment with this, looking for that to break to the upside there. But as I said, if it does break to the upside on lower volume and then starts to turn back under again, then this is also a potential sell point, i.e. it can turn into an up thrust and come back in again, which is the opposite to a spring. So come back to the daily chart with this. Where are we? So as I said, up through this area here is what we'd be looking for on this one. Then on the weekly chart here, you can see from its sub-industry at the moment, it's one of the strongest stocks in the communications equipment group. You can see it's had a exceptionally good run. If we go into the group page itself, you can see obviously since breaking out, this is the clearer move into stage 2 back in May here. So it's had a really strong move as a group and is basically consolidating at the moment. But you can see the group as a whole is drifting a little bit at the moment. So the percentage of stocks on a stage analysis technical attribute score of 6 or higher. So these are the SATA scores here. So all of these are 6 or higher. So is currently only 44% or so. Go back to the page. See that a little bit more clearly. 45% at the moment. So, and percentage of stocks above their 30-week moving average chart here, you can see it's rolled over a little bit as well. We've had started to get a lower high. So if that does start to break to the downside there, then that would be a negative for the group. But as a whole, the group is still in a neutral position after a strong stage 2 move. So coming back, where are we? Going the wrong way. Let's go to the next one. So next up is Apple. So Apple with another continuation attempt on Friday. See some strong relative volume, but it was options expiration. So take that with a pinch of salt, as obviously options expiration is always a bit different on the volumes. So it's been a good strong stage 2 move. Went sideways for a while. If we come to back to the weekly chart here on the site, let's get that up. So you can see obviously group wise it's now third in the group. You've got the quantum stocks at the top at the moment, but you can see the group as a whole, technology, hardware and storage peripherals, it's going sideways for a bit now, is in stage 3 as a group here. So if this starts to break down as a group, then potentially we'll start to see a stage 4 on that. And you can see we have seen some improvement on the technical attributes of the group and the percentage of stocks above their 30-week moving average. So at the moment, strongest SATA score you can get at the moment is a 10, so in relative strength outperforming. So back to the daily chart here, rebounded Friday off the 180R level there, so a little bit more extended in the near term now. If it does start to come back under here again, then obviously this last few days range, the lows of which so would be a negative area to look for. But at the moment, looking for it to continue on in stage 2, pushing to new highs. Another one that wanted to go through was APP. So similar kind of thing that we saw in AAOI in terms of, if you look on the daily chart here, you can see, if you imagine the lower time frame, you can see the move up in stage 2 and then the roll over and then the flattening out. So if you imagine this now on a lower time frame, when it starts to pull back and it starts to go sideways around the short-term moving averages, then that means on a lower time frame you potentially might be moving into stage 1. So if we now drop down to start off with the 195 minute, you can see obviously stage 3 on that time frame. Stage and the 2 hour time frame, it's potentially actually a stage 1 structure developing. You can see the 30-week moving average is just turning up here. So we go even lower on this one down to a 1 hour. You can see the stage 2 move broke down heavily quickly into stage 4 and then has gone sideways for a while now. So if we draw the structure here, you can see on this 1 hour time frame it's in stage 1, so going sideways again. As we talked about with AAOI, we're looking for a strong volume move to the upside, so the opposite to what you saw here. So on the upside, if it starts to push out strongly on some heavy volume, then that's a potential stage 2 breakout on this lower time frame. And then that obviously, then if you come back to the daily chart, would be a move up through this area here, and then that's your pullback entry zone as such in the stage analysis method. So don't always get them, so it doesn't mean when you get moves like this, obviously you could get an ABC correction all the way back down to the 50-day, could even obviously continue going lower. So the good thing about using the stages on the lower time frame is that if we come back to that lower time frame again, if this move, obviously we don't get the breakout attempt on heavy volume, or if it does start to drift lower through here, then there's no buy signal then. So we're looking for that strong buy signal through there on heavy relative volume. If you don't get that, then obviously it's potentially not the entry point, and it could quite easily roll over, make a continuation breakdown in stage 4. So that's how we use pullback entries on stage analysis, by using the stages on multiple time frames, from the weekly to the daily to an intraday time frame. And the intraday time frame, as I said, varies depending on the stock and how far it's pulled back. This has been an exceptionally strong stock for many months. We go onto the weekly chart with this one. Obviously been one of the leaders. Put the stages background on here. You can see it's been in stage 2 since all the way back here, back in, what was that, early part of May there. So turn that back off again. You can see it's not extended in the near term. Still the 10-week, 50-day moving average is fairly close to where the price action is at the moment, but it has been an exceptional outperformer versus the market. And you can see through stage 2 with the stage analysis technical attributes score down here. So you can see from where stage 2 started down here. So get rid of that and highlight it again. So when you're in stage 2, the vast majority of the price action happens in the 6 to the 10 SATA score range. When you get pullbacks, so these areas through here, draw that again, you can see the pullback area here when it's getting flat but still above the moving averages. It's still trending higher in stage 2. We get more into the neutral scores here. So this is the 4 and the 5s, and again similar in this area here where it went sideways for a bit. So you can see actually started to wobble a little bit, came back in for a brief stage 3 before reverting and making a stage 2 continuation. But you can see when it's in stage 2 and when it's basing in still within stage 2, sometimes obviously developing into 3, it generally holds in the upper half of the SATA score range. When it's in stage 4 like this, obviously this chart only got price action back to the point, so the technical attributes didn't start to this point, but you tend to have the SATA score tends to be in the lower range, so below 3, and you get occasional moves back up into the neutral zone on the flip side. So the SATA score is a really useful tool in analysing where the stock is technically in the stage. So you can see with this at the moment we're in what we call stage 2B. So stage 2B simply means that it's late in stage 2, and by late it means it's been in stage 2 for 3 quarters or more. So as you can see, since app, it's been in stage 2 all of this time, so 3 quarters or more, so even more than a year for this one. So this is definitely late in stage 2 at the moment. So, and compared to its group, it has drifted off a bit through here. You can see it's dropped down the rankings a bit recently with the pullback, but it is still, application software has been a very strong group. You can see the stage 2 move that the group has had as a whole has been one of the leading groups over the last few years here. So, and it has been breaking out recently, software, but we did see a pullback this week with the rest. But percentage of stocks above their 30-week moving average, again, throughout the last few months has been improving. So this has been application software has been a leading area in the last few months and has been coming up in the watch list a lot. So let's go back. Next up